Oh, hey. Didn't think I'd see you all up here. Well, seeing as we're here, I might as well get started with our little experience here. Hey there, my name is Still, but you can call me Sandy. For those of you unaware, I love mods. I think it takes a certain creativity to look at an overall finished product and think, yeah, I can add more to this. And no game has a crazier mod scene than... No, I can't even do a video on Minecraft mods. The hell do you think I am? I mean, there aren't even that many good story-driven Minecraft mods that I could... Okay, I'll put it on the list. But no, the game I'm talking about is obviously none other than Half-Life, which has a pretty lively modding scene for about as long as it's existed. And nowadays, there's no shortage of goofy mods based on the sequel to Half-Life, all usually free and with the paid ones kind of ranging from absolute cinema to... abysmal dog shit.
You fucked my fucked up face. You fuckface.
Thankfully, our topic today is not only free to play, meaning that anyone with a decent computer watching this has unironically no excuse to not try this game out for themselves, but it's really damn good, meaning I am telling you to play this game yourself before watching this for the best experience. Or don't. I'm not your mother, you can do what you want. And that game is none other than Entropy 02. Now, Sanity, you may be asking me, what about the first Entropy 0? And for those asking, shut up, I'll briefly cover it, because it's oddly enough barely big or in-depth enough for a full-on segment anyways, and it's, oddly enough, at least in my opinion, not really required to play to even understand what's going on in Entropy 02. But this intro has honestly already gone on for long enough, so I present, with great pleasure, Entropy 02, the best mod for Half-Life 2. For our history segment, I'm replacing it by giving a brief explanation of the events of Entropy 01, so that way we have some basic idea of the rather humble beginnings of the real masterpiece made by these devs. The first game starts off on the outskirts of City 10 during a routine raid on a rebel outpost, which, upon clearing it out, the mask playback skips ahead to footage of a transport train crashing into something and thus truly starting the game. After escaping that, we find ourselves at another rebel outpost that we have to navigate, and it's also around here that we find the main gimmick of this game. Yep, our main protagonist, who in the first game is just known as Bad Cop, occasionally gives some input or some vaguely Duke Nukem-esque one-liners whenever certain things happen, which is interesting and gives us a tiny bit of insight into the mindset of the character, but as I said, there isn't really much of an actual story in the first game. Anyway, we do a few puzzles, nearly get blown to pieces, and find ourselves in explosive zombie alley, where we get our hands on summonable manhacks. Unfortunately, outside of being useful for a couple of puzzles later, these don't really get much use. Now, why does this area get the name I gave it? I'm pretty sure even Einstein couldn't figure out why, huh? Anyway, after getting lost for a bit, we find ourselves at another open section with a dead Strider hooked up to something. Our goal here is to mainly just power it up so that way we can progress, and the hardest part is just finding the car battery that you need to make progress. Once you blast open a hole in the apartment complex, we reach a stealth section that, for some reason, failed on me so many times I had to restart the whole chapter because this area is basically impossible to make progress in if you somehow get caught. But when you do make your way through, you find the control section for the whole turret network around this area, and you flip them back onto your side after you make the rebel in control the console get a taste of gunfire. Anyway, we're able to go in deeper, where we reach a kinda annoying hallway where there's this one rebel behind a manned gun at the other side of the hall. The annoying part is that the rebel is basically invincible until we get close enough for the fucker to leave the gun and fight us head on. Anyway, we unlock the attic, blast through more rebels, and find an imprisoned Metro Cop who betrays us and reveals himself to actually be Barney. And now we have reached the part where the game goes from, it's pretty alright, to goofy bullshit puzzle time for the rest of the game. This section is just annoying, mainly because the only combat section here is just a horde of fast zombies in this one section whose only purpose is to serve as a test for the boosted AR-2 that you find down here. Apparently this thing is a prototype AR-2 and it's a pretty damn good weapon found later on in the second game, and it's honestly the only important thing in the first game that carries over. Anyway, after fucking around for like 30 minutes trying to figure out what to do, we enter a combine outpost absolutely infested with fast zombies. This area more or less functions like that one part of Nova Prospect where most of the section is just playing tower defense for like 10 minutes. And after that, a secret passage is revealed. We drop down and get zapped hard enough for our night vision to get fucked up for the time being. Welcome to my least favorite section of this game, where we have to lead and protect this slow-ass, defenseless-ass stalker through the horror level in Ultra Kill. This section is just extra annoying because you literally can't see shit unless you waste some ammo or have some damn good hearing. And the stalker moves like 3 millimeters per every time a British person makes a decent non-wartime meal for breakfast. Thankfully, towards the end, your night vision returns and you reach this kind of one-man bullet train they use to get to another part of the base. Here, we're greeted by Vortigons, more wandering, a very perplexing wind tunnel puzzle, and the reveal that you got infected by some mystery disease that you have to occasionally go into these vaccine stations to cure for a short time. Prepare for most of the loop going forward to just be going into these things like every 30 seconds. Anyway, we meet a Vortigaunt that awakens a hunter that's reprogrammed to fight you, a lift collapses, and the last puzzle involving the man hacks is shown off. Then there's whatever the hell this room is, which I kind of just brute forced to completion because I was getting tired of looking up walkthroughs. Then we fight the hunter a couple of times before the actual final confrontation at this weird generator thingy. Then after being the Vortigons here, we're brought to the present, where an advisor tells us our reward for cleaning up house here is a promotion to have our minds cloned into a series of elite combine units. And that's the end of Entropy 01. There isn't really much to dissect, as there isn't really much of a story in the first game. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad game, despite its second half being a complete mess, but there really isn't too much in the form of a story or lore to really dig into. But thankfully, that all does change in the sequel, which we will get into right about now. The game starts off with a flashback to before the start of the first game, with our main character looking into the mirror. As he tries to give himself a pep talk, another Metro cop points out how we're running late, calling us by our designation number of 3650. Anyway, we head into our check-in point where we're given our main job of dealing with headcrabs in another part of the building. Already in the intro alone, we're given a ton to digest here. Obvious dehumanization of even the workers by naming them numbers aside, we do get a bit more of a glimpse into the lower ranks of the Combine as well as the conditions that some civilians are kept in. I get it, the game isn't canon, but it does so well in expanding the knowledge and the, I guess, conditions of the lower ranks of the Combine that this game just might as well be canon. Anyway, as we reach our destination, we're given a bit of an idea as to where in the timeline these games, or at least the first game, is taking place, which is pretty early on into the events of Half-Life 2. Now that we know our timeline, we can finally get into the more interesting things in this intro sequence. While we're getting jumped by headcrabs, we overhear some cops looking into the information of their fellow officers. As we head in a little further, we hear the same cops looking into our file.
Except there, you mean? Looks like there's a media store.
This naturally puts us into a rage, and as we exit the vents, we go on a rampage and slaughter the cops that fudged our numbers before we get shot down ourselves. This has us get a bit demoted and ultimately leads us to the events at the start of the first game, which obviously gets cut off once the doors are kicked open since we kind of already know what happens from here, and then we get ourselves a proper intro.
They used to tell me it wasn't normal to be like me. They locked me up, medicated me, outcasted me. People took everything from me because of the way I am, my way of life, my family, my morality. People took everything. Then came the Combine. They listened. They told me that the problems of the mind are not the problems of the soul. I only had one thing to give up for this job. My humanity. Some would say I never had it anyway.
After that, we awaken in the present as an elite Combine at the remnants of Nova Prospect. As we reach this little room, we're greeted by an advisor who tells us that we are the last of our copies, and we're given a general idea as to the current timeline, which is kind of more or less towards the end of Episode 1. And we're given the mission to hunt down and capture Judith Mossman. Welcome to the actual game. Our starting weapons are a kick and this recharging pistol, and our first mission is to clear out the antlion infestation around Nova Prospect so that a transport dropship can safely land and move us to a better position. We do eventually find ourselves an AR or two about halfway through this first chapter, and soon we reach our pickup point. Here we have to use these mines to blow open a hole into the roof and then close up the antlion pits so that the dropship can pick us up safely. There isn't really much to this first section, but I will say it does a good job at setting the tone for the intensity of this second game, as you're given very little time to breathe during this section. Anyway, the dropship arrives and we get out as soon as the remaining soldiers get swarmed by antlions, but naturally, something goes wrong and we crash land in the middle of some rebel base. Well, after kicking the door down, getting blown up an accident, forgetting to record what happens next, and then clearing out the immediate area of threats, so we get to do the small puzzle where we try our best and fail at avoiding being electrocuted. We eventually get around to busting into this outpost, where we're properly introduced to this little thing that I kinda appreciate. Further rebel variety. Yeah, sure, there's really only like 3 main types of rebels in this game, which are the standard gunners, the armored shotgunners, and the jumpers that we meet later on in this chapter, but each design just expands on the fact that despite their badassery, the rebels are just regular guys slapping shit together with duct tape and prayers and somehow slapping around the Combine for the most part. And trust me, it's a small learning curve to remember that in this game, you play as the bad guy. Anyway, after we get in far enough, we find Judith going through this little checkpoint area, and we also find this guy that looks vaguely like Gordon from a distance that has admittedly not the best voice actor.
Another one of those elite Combine. We can't let it get to Dr. Mossman. Hurry up and let us through.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Yeah, this guy is certainly not the strongest of the main cast, and he's also not very important anyway, aside from some exposition that we can find around the following areas about what we're overall dealing with, like some strange time discrepancies and the knowledge that the team you're on was definitely not the first one to be sent here. Anyway, from here we gotta unlock the checkpoint from the other side of this hangar of sorts, which we enter from... wait, who the fuck is that? As I was saying, we fight through the hangar, find a trapped Combine soldier, and then find a little spot where we can unlock the checkpoint, which triggers yet another wave of rebels to show up and shoot up the place. We don't really have to fight them, and we can just charge through to the checkpoint so that way we can proceed, but I promise you that I did clear out the whole wave on the run that I did forget to record. What's that look for? When have I ever lied to you? Anyway, past a checkpoint, Tommy Wiseau tells us about the other Combine that they have locked up in the basement before running off with Judith, so we're left to go off on another path and find out what the hell he's yammering on about. And we're quickly hit with some weird illusory fuckery with a couple of mirages of a Combine walking through this Arbite communications lobby and shooting up a room full of rebels that are already dead by the time we actually look inside. Here, we're met face to face with...
What the? I've been waiting for you to show up. Is that so? And who are you, exactly? 3650. What? Impossible. You told me I was the last of my clones. Told me the first time in the Lord. do you know? How do I even know you are who you say you are? Ava. Of course. I'm more effective with my faculties. This is gonna be harder than I thought.
Meet our main antagonist. Ourselves. Yeah, we're already getting a tiny bit of deja vu, aren't we? Well, we can explore a tiny bit around here before continuing and finding a projector in here displaying the Borealis. Interesting. We crawl through the vents, get jumped by more headcrabs, and find ourselves in this generator room. Going through here, we eventually stumble into whatever the fuck this weird stasis device room is, which upon shutting it down the American way, it causes a power surge that we have to restart the generators to fix. We're then greeted by these radioactive zombies that leave this lingering deadly ooze when killed. Get used to these fuckers as they become annoyingly common going forward. From here, we can explore a bit and find out that Arbite is a cover organization for something else entirely. For what exactly? Don't know yet. Might as well keep moving and find out.
What is it with you? What's going on up here? There's more play here than you know. The rebels are hiding something huge. The Combine are crazy about it, and they need you to secure it for them. Why me? They want this. They need a specialist. And when you're done, they'll throw you out. Bullshit. I'm an asset to the Combine. Exactly. Why would they ever want to change that? They will never give you what you want, because that's how they control you. Forget about the Combine. Let's get what we want together. We don't need them. You expect me to believe that? You've lost it. Don't get in my way, or I'll have to put you down. Well, looks like they won't be working together. Having you around is just going to complicate matters. What are you planning? Think I'll put you in timeout to think things over. Ready for some deja vu? Oh shit.
So this is what Arbite was a cover for. If these platforms and textures don't immediately have your brain light up like a firework with nostalgia, we are currently in fucking Aperture. Yes, the same Aperture from Portal. And yes, these two games are in fact actually connected if you don't remember from Half-Life 2. Anyway, after making it past the blue Powerade room, and after a little bit of walking, we get our arsenal zapped from our hands by a material emancipation grid. Well, I guess we're going in with no protection, huh? After some stumbling around, we find...
Weird tech. What's all this stuff doing here?
Hey, who are you calling weird? You are the one with 2 legs.
What the hell? Who the hell are you?
Oh, I'm Wilson. I've been expecting you, you know?
You have?
Yeah, you're a clone. Said he'd make sure you'd end up here.
How do I get out of here?
You'll need me if you want to get back to the surface. I'll have to open some doors for you.
Fine.
Piece of cake. You'll see. It won't take us long.
Yep, meet our only companion for this chapter, which we have to carry around and keep alive, or else we fail. And since we're in Aperture, or at least some branch of it, our main obstacle is just these decrepit test rooms that we have to get through with a mixture of Wilson and whatever else is in these abandoned chambers. We are also not free of the mirages of our decaying clone wandering through this place, but it's few and far between around here. Oh yeah, and there's also these, which give us a better idea as to the fate of our clone and how he ended up looking like he survived a train collision with 1 HP, and why he's come around to hating the Combine unlike us. Well, up ahead we find another room where... Oh... fun. Me too, buddy. Me too. Well, now we have a giant monster and test to deal with. I never thought that you could turn Portal into a horror experience, but every day is a new day to be proven wrong.
We arrived in a blizzard, which complicated our approach. The rebels completely overwhelmed us. We took some hits. The team was wiped out. The Combine didn't give me enough guys for the job, and they had the nerve to say that I failed. And they forgot what I did in City 10.
Yeah, that's Combine for you. Anyway, there's another recording. Are you fucking kidding me? Okay, moving on. Up ahead is a turret puzzle, which funnily enough doesn't involve us getting shot by it because, well, we kind of look vaguely like the turrets anyways. Pressing this button as a corpse fall from the pipe above, and the sound of the turret trying to shoot it with an empty magazine causes the beast to emerge from the blue goop and feast on the corpse, which also presses a button underneath it. I think this is one of my favorite puzzles in this section as it perfectly balances the danger of the beast with needing to use your brain to safely use that same beast as an asset to make progress. Up next is what I call the maze. Here our main goal is to find both the cube and the button to put it on in this winding labyrinthine room while trying not to wake up any of the zombies around the area. Why? Why the hell do you think? Well, after the maze we find yet another clone recording.
I didn't mention this Freeman guy.
Well, kinda surprising, but whatever. Anyway, here we finally have a little bit of downtime to recover some lost resources while Wilson tries to unlock the next door. We can also find another recording from our clone, and some stuff to restore our health. Surely nothing else is behind these doors. How the fuck? Okay, now we have to run for our lives for a bit while Big Guy chases after us. Once that's done, we find a secret spot where our clone was learning more about Aperture. After that, we find a turret receptionist.
Just made the boss back after a big raid. Yeah. Dangerous raid. They didn't stand a chance, did they, boss?
Nope. I killed them all.
Glad to see we still have a little bit of comedy in our horror level. Anyway, we finally find our clone's secret hideout as well as an empty revolver. Our current goal is to find a way to not only progress, but to actually have ammunition. Unfortunately, we can't make progress, and we need to find a way into the locked cage so that way we can flip the override switch. And we also find out from this little area that the Arbite cover facility is comprised of 3 different facilities, and that Judith is being moved to the second one. Well, after that, our way of progression is revealed by a zombie violently smacking a panel off the wall, so now we know where to go. As we progress, we find a second recharging pistol, but unfortunately, we now have to find a different path back to the hideout. Through here, we find this big old grinder that we power on to open the way forward, and we eventually find our way back around to the hideout. Oh hey, they might be talking about us here. Guess that catches us all up, huh? Anyway, we fire off the lock on the cage and gather our ammo and unlock the next door. Now with a way to defend ourselves, we can now go on ahead and face off against a beast that's been scaring us throughout this entire chapter. Yep, that's the only one that's like that. Now that the big guy is done for, we can make progress and get our hands on quite possibly one of my favorite weapons in any game ever, the Zen Grenade. And the best explanation is to just show you what this goofy thing does. Yep, it's a grenade that literally warps anything surrounding it to Zen and spits out various resources and enemies as their replacement. It's a very high-risk, high-reward kind of weapon, but when it pulls through, it's a genuine lifesaver. It's also how we solve a few of the puzzles ahead, which I think is pretty neat. And yes, for those wondering, Wilson will always get spat back out, so you don't have to worry about accidentally banishing your only companion to the border world. Anyway, we finally reached the last necessary door for Wilson to open, but we're taking him with us. Why? I'll explain later. Anyway, we're finally on the surface again, and we're greeted by rebels and soon our own comrades. From here, we head off to this room so that way we can speak with the advisor that enlisted us.
I got held up. There's a whole other facility underneath this plate. There's a huge rebel presence up here. It looks like Judith may be up at the other facility. We're about to move out. Alright, there's something else. This place belongs to Aperture Science. Send us everything you got.
Well, I guess we better move quickly. After getting jump-scared by a hunter, we head outside to an APC that we control. Welcome to the semi-mandatory Half-Life vehicle segment. With this APC, we can strap Wilson on top and move on out, taking out rebel outposts on our way. This is where Wilson's utility kinda comes into play, as he's able to crack open locked resource caches that are pretty much in almost every outpost that we pass. But from here, it's just a long drive to our next checkpoint. First checkpoint and only a few small road bumps. Doing good. After a small talk with Wilson, we head into the checkpoint so that way we can get the first door open. More or less, this is a bit of downtime so we can kind of digest what we've seen thus far. And knowing that there's a clone of us on the loose that is not only against the Combine, but has tried to show us the true face of the Combine, it's very likely that he will be a bigger problem for us later. That, combined with the fact that this Aperture branch was experimenting with Zen teleportation, and considering that we've seen some Zen life and Race X popping up in increasing frequency, it's becoming increasingly clear that this is the half of the game that stops holding your hand. Now that we've digested that, we've now reached the exit to the checkpoint, where we have a bit more of an involved sequence involving us needing to actually restore power to this place. First area, this little parkour area where we have to avoid the blue Powerade and a few zombies that are around. We also get a glimpse into some of the former employees here before this place became defunct. Anyway, first breaker on to the next one. I see. Well, our main objective in this branch is to keep moving while avoiding enemies and the ominous red fireflies that turn you into a skeleton instantly. Well, that wasn't too bad. Second breaker on, moving on. What the fuck is that? Anyway, last breaker time. For this one, I hope you play Portal 1 because you'll need to remember how to power on these doohickeys. Alright, final breaker on and... that's the last thing I'd expect here. Anyway, on to unlock the gates.
What the hell is this?
Yeah, you're telling me. Well, with the gate open, we can finally move on. God fucking damn it. Probably should have expected a rule of 3 here, huh? Well, we gotta find our way to the security room, and it's made evident that this was a trap as this section locks down as several rebel jumpers armed with crossbows emerge to, well, dare I say, jump us. From this encounter, we also get our hands on a crossbow of our own, which we will gladly use against our assailants later. We then make our way downstairs, where we're greeted by another vaporization field that we have to shut down somehow. This does lead us to the security room where we can unlock the gates and, well, okay, I guess we're dealing with that Shadowhead crap now. Fucking annoying thing! Well, with our way in not being viable as a way out, we now have been given yet another path with the anomaly field gone, which takes us to an elevator.
Going down. I'll never complain about an elevator being too slow ever again.
Okay. My guess is that we can't take the elevator back up even if we wanted to. Welcome to whatever the hell this place is, where you get greeted by the third unique enemy introduced by Entropy 02, the Zombie Vortigaunt. Basically, these are somewhat tankier versions of a normal Vortigaunt controlled by a head crab, and seems to have the ability to sap our suit power away to heal itself. Thankfully, they aren't too frequent past this section, but they are quite annoying whenever they do show up. They are a pretty cool creature, though. Anyway, we find ourselves in this room. After we get jump scared by a few more zombie gaunts, we activate the breaker down here and... oh, fun. Yeah, to unlock our way out, we gotta connect the power from the breaker to the door by flipping these switches while avoiding these vaporization fields, while also dealing with waves of zombies and zombie guns. Thankfully, the enemies are mostly stupid, so they'll likely just vaporize themselves half the time in the process anyways. Finally! Freedom! We can keep moving. Oh, fuck me! Okay, now we can keep going. Here we mainly just have to drive and avoid dying and losing Wilson, which definitely didn't happen and definitely didn't need me to reset to about halfway through the cliff drive sequence just so that way I can make sure that Wilson survived. Anyway, our clone sends out a roller mine that fries our APC, forcing us to keep going on foot. Thankfully, we're still on track to hopefully capture Judith, and that track leads us to Cave Johnson's house. No, I'm serious.
This place belonged to the CEO.
You don't say.
Yep. Well, here we have to deal with one last ambush of rebels. Alright, with that done, we have to find a detour to reach Judith undetected. That detour is, in this cave, overrun with Zen wildlife. With that also means that the healing pools from Half-Life 1 are around here too. Get used to using these fairly regularly down here. Our main goal here is to power on this little cart here so that way we can make it to wherever the hell it leads. And the room we need to power on is guarded by 2 turrets that we can use for ourselves. We can leave Wilson here, because we'll need to come back here anyway. Anyway, welcome to the place where Aperture was likely testing the Zen grenades most. Our first encounter is literally some Race X grunts that immediately tell us that we're in for a fun time down here. I think while we're down here, I might as well talk about something that this game does almost as well as Half-Life. Environmental storytelling. Well, yeah, Wilson will tell us some basic information about certain places we go to. Even without him, we can look at some spots and get a generally good idea as to what's going on in here. Yeah, Zen wildlife has been popping up a lot ever since we picked up the Zen grenades, but this is basically the most infested part that we've seen yet. And this is the kind of thing that makes my brain just kind of light up like a firework when I'm able to put 2 and 2 together to figure out why this place looks the way it does. This is also in Half-Life 2 throughout the game, where the big cities are left dreary, the citizens are in damn near prisoners' uniforms, and a big-ass tower looms in the distance, giving us the idea that something much greater is holding the world under an Iron Fist rule. Or, of course, my favorite example of Ravenholm in Half-Life 2, where it's decorated with empty headcrab mortar shells. The buildings are left in ruins, and our only living companion is a mad preacher. Can you tell I just love when people go the extra mile to get us thinking about what happened without just telling it to our face? Can you now see why I see this game as best fan-made Half-Life spin-off? Anyway, with the time that took, we got the rail back online. Let's ride all the way to... makes sense.
You know, I don't really hate everybody. I haven't been given much of a chance not to.
You killed a guy earlier, and I swear he just wanted to run.
Well, I mean, he could still be a threat. Right?
Yeah, this is the other reason I brought Wilson. The character development going even deeper with our main protagonist here. Well, this leads us, coincidentally enough, right to Judith. And this scene might be a bit familiar for those that played the episodes.
It's her. 3650 to Overwatch. Target sighted. Preparing to engage. She is here. Send it all in. Stack up and prep for breach. Let's bust both floors. Come on. Don't waste any time. Prep those charges. What's the holdup? Close the doors. She's getting away.
Oh yeah. We're at that point in Half-Life 2. Anyway, we're here to infiltrate this place and hopefully catch Judith before she runs too far away, which involves a lot of directing our team to unlock checkpoints and blast apart the rebels that aren't taking too kindly to our presence. Eventually, we reach...
Asshole. I told you, I'm taking you out. Shut up. I'm talking now. What are you planning? What can you possibly achieve? You failed. And now it's my turn. You don't get it. What the rebels have found up here is important. They would lie. So did Alpine. Whoever can control it wins this war. And you want it all for yourself? What about the Combine? We weren't treated like the others. They see something in us. You're a woman's slave. That's the difference between us. You'll be tweaked. I enjoy the power, but I've always needed this from me. Killing people make me feel like I was what I think is right. You can stay out of my way.
Almost forgot that we were trying to race against ourselves here. Well, after that, and after a small puzzle involving luring roller mines to a vat of water, we head out onto the battlefield. At least we get to test out the Zen grenades more. Oh shit, forgot that could happen! Anyway, after clearing off a rooftop, we head down to find that our team hasn't found Judith yet, so we take a separate path while the rest of our team searches the surface. This path leads to an excavation site populated by a few rebels and whatever they were trying to research down here. There's also this little spot where, once again, kinda need to use our Zen grenades to clear out a hopper minefield. pretty cool puzzle, although very simple. We then reach a forking path. One path leads to a single resource box holding a shadow head crab. Another path leads to some bull squids jumping us, so our final path actually takes us to where we need to go, which leads to a bit of a run-and-gun section where we hear an awesome remix of Apprehension and Evasion that you're likely already hearing in the background right now. But this takes us outside where we find rebels attempting to escape via helicopter with our crew basically just shutting it down. You basically just ignore this. They got it handled. Here we hear that Mossman has basically reached the end of the line, accidentally cornering herself in a watchtower, and to reach it we gotta use this big-ass doohickey to open up the blast doors. But naturally, we won't be alone here, because if the rebels basically pinned to the wall here, they'll throw everything that they have at us. Jeez, what a ride. Anyway, we reach the tower and we hear Tommy Wiseau panicking as he's being cornered by our clone, all the way up until...
It's there. The airlock is on the ground floor. You gotta believe me. The ship is in big trouble. She should have never happened. What are you doing? Oh God! Please no!
Well, at least he went out with a bang. Anyway, we gotta hurry to Judith, because if our clone is already here, then that means we don't have much time. Thankfully, we do make it to her, just in time.
I've got Judith. You can take her from here. Ah, shit.
What's that?
Yeah, that's right. You're too late. I got to Judith first. Missing the point. She's still connected to God.
What?
Also, why you hauling around that point space? He's helping me. Unlike you. Oh yeah. He opens doors. Look who's talking. You have nowhere to go. Everyone in this place wants you dead. Wouldn't be the first time. You should know. Or perhaps you can remember it more than I do. I'm sure I remember it better. So, Dr. Mossman, how about you open that door back there before my psychotic clone mutilates us?
Oh, yes.
Well, time to run. Again. Because I don't think the Combine will be happy if their current biggest asset dies along with their main target, but we do survive. Thankfully, I'll have a meeting with our advisor.
won't be necessary. She's complying. She looked like she was sending a transmission before I got to her. We have already intercepted it. The resistance is not aware of the events occurring at our night. We will. It's defective. I'm innocent. He is the next objective. You are losing control of the situation at 3650. I respectfully dispute that. You know what you must do. This isn't good.
Yeah, I expected he would be a problem for us. Didn't think it would be right now. Well, time to go back down so we can end our clone problem. This leads to this freezing cold Entropic control facility that, when we pass through the front gates of it...
You can't run from yourself forever. Whatever you're doing, stop. All you've done is resist me. What do the rebels have up here? What are they hiding? What did you just do?
Warning. Refrigeration override active.
Shit.
Ah, I see, he's trying to blow us all up. This little lead-up involves us blasting past a few turrets and... whatever is happening here as well.
Hey, what is that thing? What are you doing? What is that thing? That device? What did it do to her?
My guess? He powered himself up. I mean, have you seen what he looks like? Well, boss fight time. After our clone tries one last time to convince us that it's not worth handing over the Borealis to the Combine, he sets the Entropic control generator to overdrive, hoping he either kills us or the blast does. And I don't think we're gonna let either one happen here. Seems Wilson won't hold up for much longer. Well, after grabbing the prototype AR-2 that our clone dropped, we head onward to activate the final platform to the Borealis, and here, the rebels try one last time to throw the rest of their might at you to little success for them. But now that we're on the lift itself, well...
Boss, I'm not gonna make it.
You're gonna be fine.
No, I don't think I am.
No, you're fine.
You're yelling at me.
I'm not mad. I'm gonna get you uploaded, remember?
I don't blame you for being angry at the world.
Don't do this.
Don't blame yourself. There are some things in life you don't get over. It's a fact of life, boss. You gotta accept that.
Don't.
Just remember, I believed you.
Olsen, stay with me.
Get rid of the ship, boss.
Ship.
You don't need.
Wilson.
You know, I never thought that I'd nearly tear up at the death of a turret. But here we are. After dropping off Wilson's remains at the upload station, we finally confront our clone.
Does the ship really mean that much to them?
It contains everything they've ever wanted.
So, all this time,
I've learned alone. I saw what they're doing. Using us. We're slaves.
maybe I could.
Oh, fuck you. Now are you going to listen? No. It's too late now.
You didn't give me much of a choice.
When this is all over, they're gonna wipe the slate. You know that, right? After they see what I've been doing. This is the end. For us. For you.
They're letting me keep my faculties. They told me.
You're like me now. Now you know the truth. You can't hide that from them. They're in your head. They can't trust you anymore.
No, I can prove it to them.
You know they can't help you. You don't need them.
You're wrong.
I'm done trying to resolve your past. I'm done with my life.
It's our past.
No. You gave everything for this privilege. Remember? Let me out.
Ah, well, I guess we weren't alone here, huh? Here we have a few options. Let the advisor wipe us here and now, or refuse to listen to the warnings given to us and blast the damn slug here and now. And I think you can take a wild guess as to what option I decide to take here. Way too close. Well, with the advisor down, we fire the anchors off the Borealis, hear Wilson over the intercom, and step aboard to meet up with an old friend.
You don't belong here, Mr. Walker.
I've seen you in City 10.
Ordinarily, this would be the end for such an interloper. Especially one of your origin. However, under these extraordinary circumstances, there appears to be a matter of debt. A debt that we owe to you.
Dead.
Let's just say that your exploits involving this ship and the quelling of a certain rebel uprising in City 10 have left your accounts unbalanced. The science may be lost on you, Mr. Walker. In short, you have bought me time.
So, you owe me. I want my...
I cannot bring your daughter back, Mr. Walker. However, I may be able to offer something else of value.
The Combine. Can you stop them from cloning me?
Ah, that would constitute remuneration. If I arrange the removal of your imprint, then I cannot also disclose what happened to your daughter.
I'm guilty of a lot of things, but I didn't kill my daughter. Maybe knowing that is enough. I don't want them to use my memories anymore. Do it.
Kill the host, and the debt is repaid. It is done.
My old room. How are you doing this?
This is where
Everything okay?
not this time. I apologize for having to leave you in this position, Mr. Walker.
What's happening? Where did you go?
Well, from here, the Combine reclaim us and attempt to finish what the Advisor started, but with Wilson now being the new AI controlling the Arbite facility, he was able to shut down the operation, free us, leaving us on a cliffhanger. And that concludes Entropy 02. So, why do I call Entropy 02 the best fan-made Half-Life spin-off? Well, as you've seen, it's a game that expands in the world of Half-Life 2 and puts us in the shoes of the opposite side, while also delivering a commentary of choosing the side that helps your well-being the most. Sometimes the big guys you put your trust in to give you everything that you want don't really exactly have the best interest in mind. Especially not yours, and that's the moral given to us throughout this entire game. especially when you bring Wilson along for the ride. Overall, my only disappointment is that this game is, for all intents and purposes, entirely not canon. But god damn it, it might as well should be. But with that, I got a pit to climb out of. And as always, this has been Stel, and thanks for watching.
Snows no bounds.
The exit. I can feel it. Every star dying out one by one. But I know how to fix it now. Whoever or whatever I was couldn't solve this problem before, but I have to go now before it's too late. I have to keep fighting.